The United States, from where I'm from, has had declining membership for the last 43 years. And finally, at that time, Second Vice President Judge Hayne Townsend and myself got together and we said, we got to do something different. We went back and looked what we did previously to try and increase membership. I looked back 40 years ago, and you know what we did? We hired somebody to tell us what our problems were and how to fix it, okay? So 40 years ago, we hired somebody, and they came back and told us, well, you don't have enough leadership, you don't have enough young members, you don't have enough women, and you got people leaving you. And we said, fine. So we came with a new program. We came with Merle, okay? And so it started to work okay, and then another 5 years, we were still losing membership globally. So what should we do? Well, let's hire somebody to tell us what our problems are. So we hired somebody, and they said, well, you don't have good leadership, you don't have young members, you don't have women, you got people leading you, you need better training. So we said, great, let's come with another program. And we did. And we waited another 5 to 7 years, and we still were losing membership, especially in the United States. And what should we do? Well, we hired somebody. Every 5 to 7 years, we hired somebody, we came with a new program. Nobody knows the problems we had in our constitutional area than our constitutional area. Nobody knows the membership better in this area than this area and you. That's what it is. So Haynes and I got together, and we didn't know what we were going to do. We know we had to come up with something and not have a new program or buy somebody to tell us what our problems were, because we know what they are, okay? So what we did is we got 9 people together, and it was a steering committee. It was called the North American Membership Initiative, NAMI at the time. So we got 9 people together. We brought them into our headquarters one time, okay? And we sat down for a couple of days. The first thing we did is we built a team. And that's the first step of Mission 1.5 of Global Membership Approach. You build a team. Look at the team you have here. You have a great team. Okay, so you've done that. The next thing we did is we sat down and we talked about what are the problems we have? What are the strengths that this organization has? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities and what are the threats? And we talked about them for a day, okay? And so we knew what our problems were. We knew what our strengths were. So what we did is we built a vision. And that's the most important piece of Mission 1.5 when you talk about the global membership approach, and that's just a process. It's not a program, is building a vision. Sitting down, not for a minute, not for 5 minutes, but sitting down and having long discussions. First of all, with your multiple. And then having long discussions within your district of the people you need to have. The decision is yours. You know who needs to be in. And then sitting down and talking to your zone chairs and talking to your zone and then talking to the clubs. So you build that vision, you talk about what our problems are, and you talk about plans of what are the opportunities we're going to have if we grow. What are the threats that are going to be there to stop us from getting to our goals, okay? So once you do that district analysis or multiple analysis or zone analysis, this has to be done on every level. Not a 5-minute discussion, but you sit down and you talk about it for hours at a time because everybody has opinions and we want to listen to everybody, okay? And then I've done that district analysis. We call it SWOT analysis, but if you do a district analysis or a club analysis, then you can build a plan. And that's what we did. We didn't know we were doing it at the time when we got these 9 people together, and we did 9 pilot sites. And we were getting numbers. We were positive. Things were working because we did the process. Build a team, build a vision, build a plan, and we built success. So we were becoming successful. The rest of the world says, we want in on this. We want to do this. We said, you can't have it. We have to have a proof of concept. We have to make sure it works before we roll anything out. So we did. And we proved that it worked and it was successful. Towards the end of the year, we hit COVID. We hit a little bit of a roadblock, but we still continued on. The rest of the world wanted it. And we said, you can't have it. Because what we did is we then rolled it out to the rest of Constitutional Area 1 and Constitutional Area 2. We found out it was successful. That's when we rolled it out to the rest of the world. Now, a year ago, and you guys were part of it, you were part of the pilot program that we had. You are part of the pilot program for the global membership approach, and that's what it turned into, okay? we had 115 pilot districts, and you were one of them. Of those 115 pilot districts throughout the entire year, because you worked the process. You guys know the process better than anybody. But you built a team, you built a vision, you built a plan, and you built success. Of those 115 pilot districts we had all over the world, 123% increase in their membership. Increase, 123% increase from our pilot site. So it works if you do the process, not once, but every year. That same year, the people that did not, the outside the 115, those that were in the rest of the world, they went down by 67%. Their membership declined by 67%. We were more positive with the pilot sites in new clubs, new members, retaining our members, and continuing to work with our leadership and succession plans. That's 190% difference between a minus 67 and 123. So that proves that it works. So with that, that's where we set our goals on mission 1.5. Now forget about having an increase by 190% here. We don't need that. Just think, if we increased our membership globally by 10%, not 190, but 10%, that's 140,000 members. Positive. We'll get to 1.5 very quickly if we can all follow that. Just think if we did 20%. But we have to follow the process. Not everybody does it. It's a lot of work. It is. So we introduced it to the rest of the world, and that's where we're at. Last year we had a dip in our membership. And that's why the executive officer said, we're going to focus on it. This is the top priority of this organization. Besides raising money for our foundation. I'll never forget that, okay? That goes without being said. But the way I look at it, we get 1.5 million members. We're going to have so many more people to give to our foundation and so many more things that we're going to have done here. So that's what it's about, okay? So then, we let the rest of the world go. Why we had a little bit of a problem last year, we actually started up a zone pilot site. Because when I asked those 9 pilot sites we started with originally, when I said if you could do it all over, what would you have done better? Every single one of them said, I wish I could have got it down to the club level better. I worked on our district. We got it in our district and we were successful. But if we could get it to the club, that's where it has to go. So we concentrated on this pilot. We had 13 zones that we pulled together. We got the zone chairs together, and we went through the process again. Build a team, build a vision, build a plan, build success. This is not something that you do one time. I brought this back to my company, and I brought this back to the company. Normally, I'm a manager. I'm an owner of a business, and what I say goes. I don't necessarily need to listen to people. I brought this back, and I got input from everybody, and that was the success of the membership initiative. We brought this down to the zone and the club level, and they were excited because they were making the decisions. Not something that LCI is doing and shoving it down. They found out what their problems were, and they found out how to fix it. That's the success of it. So we got the zones together. And we said, how do we get it to the zones? How do we make zones do? So you as well, as part of mission 1.5, you should have your zone chairs, your region chairs, and your zone chairs getting together in their group and say, about my zone, what are my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? Let's talk about them. And how can we get it down to the club? And you take the time to do that. And you build a team, build a vision, build a plan, and build success. Okay? Then, when they do that, each one of those zone chairs takes it to their club. And you get your clubs together in your zone, and you do the same exact thing. Because clubs don't care about building new clubs necessarily. They worry about how do we involve the community? How can we do more service things? They have different needs than a district has. They have different needs than a multiple has. So the thing I stress on this, and I'm a membership fanatic. I'm very passionate about members. I love numbers. And it's all about numbers when we get down to this. But it's something, again, it's got to be done at every level. And when you do this at the club level and you bring in the presidents or secretaries or whoever they want to bring to your zone meetings, and you say, what are your goals going to be? How many members are you going to bring in? And they're going to be excited about it because it's their decision. It's not something coming down on ours. They're going to build their own plans. So you're going to ask them to build their own plans. And that's the whole success of this global membership approach. Again, it's not a program. It's just a process that we have to be able to go through, and we got to be able to do. Okay? In a moment, I'll ask for any kind of questions and stuff you have as well. But the other thing is you know, when you've got a district governor team here, and the officers and everybody found out that it's very difficult when you get a new international president, they come with whole new programs and you start all over. Same thing on a district team. We have to work as a team. That is the most important thing, because this global membership approach in Mission 1.5, it's got to succeed from year to year to year to year. So you guys should already have plans for this year on what you want to do. I know the governor has already set his goals of how many people and how many clubs we're going to do. I heard him. And you're going to go through this process with the team and share that with the district governor team and the cabinet, okay? And the multiple. And then, as you get through the year, you continue to meet on it at every cabinet meeting. Every opportunity you have. When we met on it with North America, we met twice a month. And we went over it. And then we narrowed it down to once a month. And we talked about it. And that's what you have to do here. You have to talk about it at every cabinet meeting. And again, I've told my multiple, this isn't a 5-minute discussion. Somebody travels 1,600 kilometers to give a 3-minute talk. It's not. We talk about it and we encourage each other and we help each other out. And that's what we've got to be able to do. And then, as the new governor, the first vice district governor starts coming through the process, when he goes to St. Charles, they're going to do the same things. You're going to look at what the district governors, what your goal was with the team, and you're going to look at what worked and what didn't work. And you as a team are going to work at, well, what can we modify and change? We're not going to scrap it, but what can we change to make it better every single year? So we've got a great succession plan. That's what's going to get us successful. That's what's going to be able to make us drive. I got to tell you, I am so excited in regards to Uganda. You've got great potential here, and you've proven it already in the past. You have. And I go to so many places, and they're struggling, and they don't get it. You have great leadership here. You've got great direction. You've got great vision. You've got great people here. You guys are taking time out of your schedule. Leo's as well. This pertains to everybody, okay? You guys have great people here. Let me tell you, on a 5-year average, and you may know this already, but on average, you start 6 clubs every single year, okay? And good for you. That's the governor's goal and what he wants to do, okay? And the key to getting to 1.5 million members, we got to start up a lot more clubs than we've done in the past, especially in my constitutional area. I think we got 64 clubs in our entire constitutional area last year. We've got to be around 200 to 250. We got to increase clubs in every single district in what we do. And we got great starts here. We inducted members. We've been inducting members the last couple of days. And we got clubs that are getting started up. When we went to the hospital here, we inducted Michelle, and Michelle is interested in starting up a club in the hospital. That's how we do it. You do special interest clubs. Those that have a common interest of what they want to get done. You get all those people together, you start a club up, and that's what they focus on. They're going to be around there for the long haul. They're going to be there. We got to do a lot of those. We do. We see the need that's done here, that's necessary in Uganda. Now, you start up 6 clubs every year, but we lose 3 every year. You're still at a +3, which is good. Don't get me wrong. And I know, but in the United States, same problem. They're getting aged. They're old. We're over 100 years old in our area. And they're getting, I know they don't all die, but they're getting old and they don't want to change. They're happy and content with doing what they're doing. I'm going to talk about that a little bit tonight. They don't change. We've got to change if we want to survive, okay? So we've got to change. So every single year, you guys lose 306 members per year on a 5-year average for this district, okay? 306, that's a lot. But you add 482 on average, and that's good. You guys are a plus 176 on average every single year, and I applaud you for that. You applaud yourselves for that. That is a good job. But can we be better? Yes. I think we can. We know that 306 people didn't die in this area. Right? Yes. Okay. But they lose interest. And when we bring in new members like we did today, we ask them to share the joy and bring somebody else in just like them. In my club, in my area, what we do when we bring in new members, we ask them, what do you want to do? What do you want to do in our community to make it better? A lot of times we don't listen. And they tell us, and we say, well, that's not what we do. This is what we've done for 50 years, okay? That's not what we do. We ask them, what do you want to do? Okay, you want to be a part of that and successful. You can use all the club members. Let's do that. That's going to buy them in, and that's going to keep them, right? It absolutely will. It's proven that that will keep them. So if our clubs could continue to get the Club Excellence Award, because one of the criteria there is you have to be a +1 throughout the year. If you can get everybody working toward a Club Excellence Award, we're not going to have a membership problem. You're going to have, you'll be great, especially in our area. That's the problem. So we can do that. But if you can keep, out of those 306, if you could keep 1 out of 5 members from leaving, if you could just go to the people that left, those 5 members, and say, what didn't we fulfill? Do we meet at the wrong time? Did we not listen to you? Do you not have time? What can we do to change it? What can we do to change to keep you here because we're interested in you? You've already made the commitment. I'm a business owner. I know it costs 3 times more to get a brand new customer or member than to keep the ones we got. If we could keep 1 out of 5, that's going to get you back an additional 61 people. And at the end of the year, you'll be at a plus 236 without any work at all. Very little work to be able to do that. So if we could work on that for retention, when our members leave, be concerned about it. What can we do in order to keep you here, and what can we do in order to be able to get you back? Now today, I looked at your membership last night, and again, my hat's off to you guys, and I applaud. You're a plus 90. You're a plus 90 right here in this district. That's just this district. So you guys are doing it right. I want to use you guys as an example of how it can be done. But again, we all know it can be better. Now, I've talked a lot. And you can see I'm passionate. I could talk for another 4 hours, but I'm not. Okay? So how can I help you? How can the officers help you? How can the leadership here help you? Or what questions do you have? What's the hard part about gaining our membership and becoming very strong? Because I see the need here. I see Uganda being able to grow by leaps and bounds. I really do. You got a lot of passionate people here. So again, I want to thank you for the time, but now, and I will also allow Daniel and Phil and any comments that you guys have too, but I'm going to open it up for a minute for any questions and comments that you guys may have. Anything whatsoever. And that stands for Leos or anybody.
By show of hands, so that we identify you answer, ask your question.